Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another virtual Wargaming live battle report. Today I have a game of Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition between Lizardmen and Dark Elves, using the raid scenario from the Dark Elf army book. This scenario is, I think, probably... Okay, so I've done the other two elf scenarios and they were both favored for the elves. I think this one is the same, but it's a bit harder to tell. I think it's more accurate to say that it is balanced around a certain point cost, which I am not playing. Today I'm doing 1,000 points. I think it's balanced around 2,000 points. For context, the reason I think that is that it is a case of you have to score... In this scenario, the Dark Elves score plunder points for either capturing enemy models, so making a unit break and flee and then catching up to it, or plundering these buildings in the middle. The Dark Elves then subtract a number of points equal to their points cost divided by 50. For a 2,000 point game, that's minus 40. For a 1,000 point game, that's only minus 20. Then, based on the remaining number, that determines the result. The problem is the defender, in a 1,000 point game, cannot achieve a massacre because you need minus 30 or less points on the Dark Elf side. We have only minus 20 right now. So that's like physically impossible to achieve. The best they can do is a solid victory, and if Dark Elves score a single point, it becomes a minor victory. But they do need to score like 30 points to score a victory at all for the Dark Elf side. So like, it doesn't really matter how intensely you win, but it's obviously not balanced around these numbers. So if it goes poorly, damn, sucks to suck, but hopefully it won't. So how does this work? Dark Elves are in one of two ways. They score a plunder point for every single model that flees and is captured. So if they kill 5 models out of this unit, and then it flees, and they catch it, that's 15 points. For the heroes, there's only one today. If you capture the hero, you score 5 points. If you capture a lord, which there is none, but if you capture a lord, it's 10 points. And then these buildings may be raided. If a unit enters a building, they can raid it and get 2d6 plunder points. With 5 buildings, that's 10d6 plunder points on offer, or between 10 and 60. So really, they could just like raid all the buildings and guarantee a win, which might be what has to happen. This scenario is different in a number of ways. First, the Dark Elves do not deploy on the board. They have committed their forces to different sides, and they will march on at the start of the turn. This one goes for 8 turns instead of the usual 6. And finally, a unit may choose to reform to become a skirmishing unit to be able to enter comfortably into here. Because like, you could not march into this. You could march into here, but like, you want to get around corners and quickly and stuff. So skirmishing just makes for better access to this area. Obviously, this battlefield is Lustrian themed, and the temples, well, the buildings are just big ziggurats, pyramids, and a spawning pool from the previous one. So this is not like a super complicated area. If I do this scenario again in the future, which I probably will if I have fun, then I'll try and make a slightly more convoluted village in the middle. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump in and introduce our armies. I'll start with the Lizardmen who are defending. They are led by a Saurus Scar veteran. He, predictably, has an enchanted shield, the Sword of Might, and the Blessed Spawning of Quetzal. I know I run this setup a lot. It's simple, it's easy, and I like it. And when I'm dealing with armies that have like kinda, I don't want to say weird rules, but like utility magic weapons rather than just pure killy ones, a lot of the time it's easier just to default back to this setup. The Blessed Spawning of Quetzal ups his goodness, what's it called? His Scaly Skin save. From a 6 up to a 5 up, I believe it is. Or a 5 up to a 4 up. I don't remember which it is. I will check very quickly. It is default 5 up, so it becomes 4 up. Yep, that's right. And then he also has light armor. So he is basically rocking, 5 up, 4 up, 1 up save. So very, very tanky, very tough. And he is joining a unit of 20 Saurus warriors. They have a standard bearer, they have a musician. We also have another unit of 20 Saurus warriors over here, just naked. No command groups or anything. No equipment because spears I don't think are that good. Then we have 10 skink skirmishers and 10 more skink skirmishers. I apologize if you can hear my dog moving in the background. She is upset that I have decided to record. And both of these units are equipped with blowpipes. Finally, we have a unit of 3 Croxagores. Let me spin them around so you can see what they look like. It's difficult to make Croxagores that look good in Hero Forge. I think I did an okay job at making these big, dopey crocodile boys, but also, like, if you look at the art and you look at, like, the 3D models and everything, their designs have changed a lot over the years, so, like, it's fine. And finally, we have a unit of 5 chameleon skinks. This is another one where it's like, I don't like the design, but look, we don't have chameleon heads, so I had to work with what I've got, and hopefully they look okay. For our Dark Elf army, we have leading them, let me go ahead and spin her around, we have a Dark Elf Noble. She has heavy armor, she has a Sea Dragon cloak, she is carrying the Shield of Grond. The Shield of Grond is an interesting one because it reduces the strength of enemy attacks by 1. So this is just, I think it's genuinely good, especially against Saurus Warriors. It turns them from strength 4 to strength 3, so they don't go through armor, and they also, They also will wound her on 4s instead of 3s, because she's still a high elf, so Dark Elf, so she's still toughness 3. And against, like, skinks that are already strength 3, that makes them strength 2, and it's even better. She is carrying a lance, and she is mounted on a Dark Pegasus, so we're going to be getting a lot of mobility out of her today. For our core, we have a unit of 20 Corsairs. They have a Reaver, they have a Standard Bearer, they don't have a Musician, I just didn't have the points for it. And on the other side, we have a unit of 5 Dark Riders. Finally, for our special, we have a unit of 20 Witch Elves. They have a Hag, they have a Standard Bearer, they have a Musician. And finally, we have another unit of Blackguard. And these guys have a Master, a Standard Bearer, a Musician, and the Standard of Slaughter, which is going to add plus 1d3 to the combat resolution the first time that they charge something. And I am hoping that they're going to be charging these Saurus Warriors and just doing a lot of damage and breaking them immediately. Because if they don't break them immediately, they're going to have a hard time in the future. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. I need to double check my notes very quickly. Just seeing, okay. I had some thoughts before this battle. So obviously, this game starts with each unit moving in from the board edge. So we're going to start off with our Corsairs. They're going to go 10 inches in. So I think we'll put them in like this. This is how I'm going to do it today, at least. Okay, our Witch Elves. No, actually, we're not going to do our Witch Elves yet. We're going to do the Noble. The Noble's going to move to here. And then she is going to fly 20 inches onto the board. She can't... Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to fly her 20 inches onto the board over here. Not even 20, we're just going to fly her over here. I'm going to point it this way. And we just want her to be able to swoop in and kill these skinks immediately, if possible. And then these guys are going to ride on in, and we'll put them up on the hill here. Again, they want to charge the skinks if they can. And then, ideally, what I would actually like to do is... I'm going to reform these guys right now, actually, because they are fast cavalry. And so we're going to reform this into a skirmishing unit, because they don't get any rank bonuses, so they may as well skirmish. And then next turn they can charge here, and we can just break through, hopefully. And they'll be able to, like, funnel through narrowly. Next up, the Blackguard. Okay, what we're going to do with these guys. So these guys can only charge 8 inches. These guys can charge 10. So the thing we want to do is we want to bring them on just 2.8 inches. So this way, this isn't a charge distance for them, but these guys can charge. And then hopefully on the charge, they'll be able to do enough damage and win combat from that. Okay, Witch Elves. This is the question. Witch Elves are frenzied, so that they will have to charge if they see something. I could bring them in this way and try and keep them away from the Croxagores. But Croxagores are movement 6, so the Croxagores can never be out-positioned like the Saurus Warriors can. So the question is, do I even bother trying to play around them, or do I just lean in, say I have to tank 9 attacks from Croxicores on the chin to try and get my Witch Elves to connect? I think letting them connect with the Croxicores is kind of suicide, honestly. I think what I want to do is I want to move them in this way. And I'm going to just like keep them back for the moment. Because remember, we have 8 turns to try and execute everything that we're doing. So I kind of want to try and next turn reform them into a skirmishing unit and just book it this way. And then like be able to charge in through here. But we shall see. So that brings us to the end of this turn, because we don't have any ranged units on our Dark Elves. So that brings us to the Lizardmen. Okay, these guys just want to hold this line here. We know that they can't get can't charge out, and we don't want the Corsairs to try and like outmaneuver them and get in and start looting buildings. The Chameleon Skinks, so actually genuinely want to be charged by these guys, because remember these the standard of slaughter will only work on the first charge. So if they charge the Chameleon Skinks, that's a complete waste. So these guys are like completely safe. Likewise, these guys are just going to have to accept the charge because we don't want something getting around them. Oh, for context, these guys can't go into buildings because they're on horses. So they can't get in, so they're not a concern on this front. Okay, so let's think about this Skinks. I think what we want to do is we want to move both units forward a bit. Yeah, because what we want, really, is we're going to go like 4, 4.8. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me scoot this guy back and then like bring him out to here so that these guys can come up and not be going too far. Because you don't want to double move with them because we're trying to shoot with this unit. And then these guys can just go the 6 inches out to like there. Croxicores, we're gonna hold the, no, I know what we're gonna do with the Croxicores, okay. We're gonna do a little wheel, and we're just gonna wheel them forward to face this way. But I'm not going to step out, because if we step out, then these guys can wheel around and just start booking it for this entrance. And then, like, the Croxicores have to back in, and it's a whole ordeal. And then like the Witch Elves can move up. Oh, actually, that's a really good idea. Whoops! Accidentally on the Lizardman turn schemed up something for the Dark Elves. But okay, let's go ahead and measure our distances. So like 10 inches for these guys. These guys are also greater than 9. Oh no, sorry, it's a 12-inch range, not an 18-inch range. I don't know why I thought it was 18. Okay, so these Skink Skirmishers, 3 still hit on 4s. They've moved, hit on 5s. Long range, hit on 6s. They're firing at Dark Riders, so they hit on 7s, so they can't get poison. So we're just going to multi-shot it to get 20 attacks. That will hit on 6s, 4 successes, and then we'll hit on 5s. 2 successes, and then we get 2 shots that wound on 4s. Oh, okay, 2 wounds, and then what is the Dark Riders? Just light armor and a horse, so two things that save on 5. Oh, okay, cool. So they just armor saved that one. That's absurd. The amount of successes that we saw there. Now, these guys, same deal, all long range. So, hit on 4s, hit on 5s from moving, 6s from long range. This is not a, what's it called again? A single target, like she's on a mount, so she doesn't get any protections, so we're going to just single shot it to fish for, yep, alright, so on a 5 up we hit her, nothing. So all of it goes into the Pegasus. Oh wow, the Pegasus just dies. That's actually wild. So we're going to shrink her down to -1. And then dead Pegasus, basically. So -1 is the base size of just a regular Dark Elf Noble. I didn't even think about the Pegasus getting shot out of her. That's genuinely horrendous. But it is what it is. Alright, so that is the end of the Lizardmen. Oh no! Chameleon Skinks. They're here too. Okay, so they have moved. So the Chameleon Skinks are ballistic skill 4, so they hit on 3s instead of the usual 4s. And so they're hitting on 3s, they'll hit on 4s for moving, 5s for long range. Yeah, we can double shot this for 6s. Okay, so 10 that hit, actually, I can roll attacks like this. 10 that hit on 6s, they'll wound on 1s, and they will save on, this is heavy armor, so 5s. No hits. Okay, that's expected. Alright, so now we're going to update our turn counter. And that brings us to the end of the first turn. So, Dark Elf charges. We're going to do Dark Rider at this. We're going to do the Dark Elf Noble at the Skink Skirmishes. We're charging the Blackguard at the Saurus Warriors. And that is it. So we're holding here. We're standing and shooting in both instances. We know that these guys are too close, so they can't. But yeah, she's far enough away. So this is going to be 4s, 5s for long range, 6s for standing and shooting, 7s because she's a single target. So we're going to go all the way up to 8s. So that's going to be, yeah, 8s, which is a 6 up and then a 5 up. So 20 shots. They've missed literally everything. Impressive. So she gets in. These guys get in. Now these guys can just neatly wheel up, form up. This is unit 4. I think it's going to form, I'm just going to form 10 wide. I didn't set them up, never mind. Form them 10 wide. I'm going to spin them. I'm going to wheel them. And then we reveal that actually they needed to be 8 wide, but whatever, that's fine. These guys, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to wheel her just to be like that, and then I'm not even going to bother reforming the group behind. You all know what it's meant to look like. And then finally these guys go in 10 inches. Okay, so our Witch Elves can't see the Croxicores right now. So we're going to do the cunning scheme that I thought of. Because remember, we have 8 turns to get in here. And we do need to execute some amount of looting, but only some amount of looting. So that's going to be 2.4. So if we go 5, it's going to go 7.5 inches this way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start bringing the Corsairs this way. And then as they have to consider the Corsairs coming in for the flank charge, that's when we're going to bring the Witch Elves over and just make it, or the Corsairs can sneak in behind the Witch Elves. If the Witch Elves will die, they can just like loot some buildings, get these guys in the rear. So that brings us to the combat phase. Alright, Dark Riders hitting Skink Skirmishes. Skink Skirmishes are weapon skill 2. Dark Riders are, okay, so 5 attacks that will hit on 3s, will wound on 2s, they will save on 7s, go. 1, 2, 3, 4 dead Skink Skirmishes. Guys, don't kill too many, please. We need to actually get the casualties to 3. Alright, with 7 dead, that leaves only 1 in base contact, so 1d6 to hit. Oh, hits. Wounds. Saves. Alright, so we'll come back to this one. Dark Elf Noble first. She has 3 attacks. She unfortunately is using a hand weapon now, but that's still going to be enough to get these guys on 2s. Save on 7s. Go. She's killed 2 Skink Skirmishes. Only 1 guy remains. He rolls 1d6. He hits. He doesn't wound. Alright. Finally, up here. This is going to be 6 attacks. Is that right? They only have 1 attack? Yep, they only have 1 attack. We are going to put all of it into the Saurus Warriors. I just want to get as many of them down as possible. I know the Scar Veteran is a threat, but also I really want to capture the Scar Veteran if I can. So these guys have halberds, so they wound on 4s. Oh, and we reroll all misses because of Eternal Hatred. So they hate everyone, and that will persist. And then finally, Saurus Warriors are shields of scaly skin hand weapons, so that's a 4-up save normally, it's a 5-up save after this. No wounds. Okay, expected outcomes, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 attacks, hit on 4s, wound on 3s, save on 6s. 2 dead Blackguard. Scar Veteran attacks, 3 attacks, no, 4 attacks. Hit on 4s, wound on 2s, save on 7s, go, 3 more dead. Alright, and then we get to add 1d3, so 2, +1, versus 5, +1, +1, 2, 3, 10. Okay, that's a big loss, so let's go ahead and roll this. 7. Yeah, that's definitely they're fleeing. They will flee 7 inches. And we're going to overrun here 11. So these guys go 11 inches this way. And that is the death of the Blackguard. Yeah, I think Blackguard might be bad, guys. I don't know. I just have this like weird feeling. Okay, Skinks. Skinks number 1. Yeah, that's a fail. They go 2d6. They get pursued 16 inches. Okay, so these guys can reform, so they're going to move 16 inches this way. And they're just going to move them up. We're going to pull these guys apart a bit. And then that is 3 plunder points for the Dark Elves. Then up here, same thing. Skinks are going to leadership test. That is a 4. Skinks have a leadership of 5. They outnumber her. They lost 2 guys. So they lost by 1. So they're actually totally fine. So these guys aren't fleeing yet. Unfortunately, I was really hoping, because like 8 extra plunder points would have been amazing right about now. But that's okay. So that's going to be the end of the Dark Elf turn 2. And we're going to go ahead and wheel this unit around to face these guys. Because these guys, unfortunately, have a very simple problem, which is they don't have a easy, like, because they can't really charge these guys. They can't loot anything. What do they do? Like, they can't really charge up here. Can they? No, these guys are 11 inches away from this point, and probably not. I wouldn't want to risk making that charge, because these guys are going to about face. I mean, actually, never mind. They can't make that charge, because now they're facing the correct direction again. And then they're going to move 3 inches closer. Okay, Croxagores. Honestly, actually, the correct thing here is to move these guys 3 inches in as well. So the reason we're pulling these guys in is so that the Dark Riders can't just slam into the Croxagores. Oh, they can actually see the Croxagores and slam into them for free. Which actually means the correct play right this second is to push the Croxagores forward. And they can only go forward 6 inches, and we don't want to push them into the Witch Elf charge, so it's 1. It's about to there. Now they can't be seen by the Dark Riders, so they can't be charged. And they are out and away from there. Okay, combat. Dark Elf Noble, she's definitely going first, because Dark Elf Hero unit, yeah, that's a 7. Sheesh. I think that's a 7. That's a 7. Hits on 3s, wounds on 2s, saves on 7s, go. 1 dead skink. The other 2 fight back. They hit on 4s. No, they hit on 5s, actually, with that difference. They'll wound her on Are they strength? I think they're strength 3 normally. Yep, strength 3, toughness 5. So I'll wound her on 5s, and she'll save on, I believe, 2s actually. Because heavy armor, no, heavy armor is a 5 up. Shield makes it 4 up. Dragon Cloak makes it 3 up. Yep, only 3s. Oh wow, okay, so she is actually wounded. That's really bad for her. What were the odds of that even? Insanely low is the answer. So she has to make a leadership check. Oh goodness. She has been killed. This is rapidly falling apart for the Dark Elves. Goodness. Alright, so that's going to be turn 2. Yeah, I take it back. This is not at all Dark Elf favored, it feels like. Okay, so what we're going to do here. Dark Riders are just going to book it down to here. I'm just going to swing all of them down here. And we're just going to, like, casually do this for them. These guys are going to wheel this way. And then they have 7.4 more of marching, which brings them... I'm going to say they just clip past this. Oh, I completely forgot about the chameleon skinks on account of how sneaky colored they are. So with everything now happening in the south, we're just going to book it 12 inches this way. And then I'm going to pull this guy in, and we're going to sort of like reform them into a proper skirmishing formation. Okay, finally, Witch Elves. Look, we're just going to have to fight, tank it to the face at this point. We've lost so much stuff already. It's like, yeah, we just got to go up to here and be like, okay, cool, Croxicores can hit me in the face. We can get the Dark Riders in the rear next turn, kill them, work out this situation. And that's going to be the end of the turn for Dark Elves. So, lizards again. Oh, my brain rot just went straight to the stupid lizard pressing the button meme. But I will resist. Okay. So the Saurus Warriors can't actually very easily, like, rotate around here. Wow, we're actually hitting a point where, like, they would want to reform into a... Because these guys can swing probably around and get in, but these guys can't because of the closeness of the building. Do I just want to pull them back a little bit and just, like, concede this territory momentarily? Because I know that the Dark Elves can't really get in there too easily. Oh, charges. Croxicores. Yeah, I'm going to do the charge into the... I apologize. I should have done that at the beginning. Oh, these guys cause fear, don't they? Did they have that labeled on them? No, they don't. Okay. Let me fix that real quick. Cause fear. Not that it matters if they're Witch Elves, because they obviously are frenzied and thus immune to fear. But still, worth noting. Alright, and yep, they're aligned. They're good. Yeah, I think I just want to move these guys back a bit. I'm going to move them back the full 3 inches, actually. No, yeah. I'm going to move them back 2, actually, because they need to move to turn. Like, turn, move, turn. Okay, these guys. I think they actually could have moved a lot. No, that was the Lizardmen turn that they won. Who have I moved already? I've moved these guys. I moved these guys. Yes, I moved these already because they went there and then there. Goodness, I'm all over the place. I apologize. Alright. Combat phase. Croxicores. They have 3 attacks each, I believe. Yes. They are weapon skill 3 versus the Witch Elves 5. And they are strength 7. So, 9 attacks, so we'll hit on 4s, we'll wound on 2s, and we'll save on 7s. Go. Exactly the kind of outcome I was actually scared of. 2 attacks back from the Witch Elves because this is the hag who didn't get killed. So she hits on 3. No, I got to slow roll this actually. So she has 2 attacks, 3 attacks from second weapon, 4 attacks from frenzy. She hits on 3s. 2 6s, so 2 guaranteed wounds. And then 1 hit on a 5-up. Okay, so these guys now have to make 2 4-up scaly skin saves. They've only succeeded 1, so they take 1 wound. Okay, combat resolution. They have 1, 2, 3 ranks. They have 10, 14 characters, so they're still outnumbering. So that's 4. They have a banner, that's 5. And they did 1 wound, that's 6. That's a tie, and a tie with a musician becomes a victory by 1. So a 3 is enough for the Croxicors to pass. They're totally fine. They don't care. And that brings us to the end of turn 3. But concern is growing. Dark Rider's going to charge the Croxicors. They have to make a leadership check. They have passed it, so they're going to get to slam right in. Like so. These guys, are they far enough away? Yeah, they're good. I'm going to say they're good on that front too, because I don't want to deal with the implications of that, is the answer. Okay, so 5.8. 5.8. Okay, so these guys can move like a little bit closer. I'm actually going to leave them here before we enter the town. And hopefully we can do a little bit of looting. So it's going to be the end of the movement phase. Combat. Okay, so Croxicors obviously go last, so we will start with our Dark Riders in the back. There are 5 attacks that hit on 3s, that wound on 4s, that save on 5s. Go. There's 1 wound inflicted. Then we have the horses. 5 attacks hit on 4s, wound on 5s, save on 4s. Go. Alright, that's a dead Croxicor. This is good, but also bad for us. Witch Elves. I wanted to say they get the full attacks. They have 16 attacks. Okay, so they have 16 attacks because each Witch Elf makes 3. There's 5 of them, that's 15. And then the Hag makes an extra 1. And then that is 6 that are going to be just wounding on 5s. And then 4 saves that have 4-ups. And then that is another dead Croxicor. So it's only 1 Croxicor left. He's going to put it all into the Witch Elves. 3 attacks, hit on 4s, wound on 2s, save on 7s, go. And he did nothing. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Physically impossible for the Croxicor to succeed, so he's going to be fleeing. He flees away from the Witch Elves, I believe. So it's going to... Actually, I think he would flee down this way, so we're only going to pursue with the Dark Riders. And yep, he's been caught. Well, he would have been fled off, but he got caught, so that's 1 extra plunder count. And our Dark Riders have been run off the board momentarily, but they will return. I wanted to make a stupid Marvel movie joke. Why am I like this? Okay, so then that is the end of the Dark Elf turn, and we are brought to the Lizard turn. So again, we're going to hurry this way. We're going to emerge the Chameleon Skinks from here. And we're probably going to have to flee if they get charged, but that's okay. They just want to shoot at the Corsairs as much as they can. Whoops. And these guys are going to march straight to here, and then they're going to stop there, because next turn they're going to have to wheel, and do some like finagling to get in. Okay, shooting Chameleon Skinks. They've moved, so they're going to hit on 4s. They're at long range, they're going to hit on 5s. they can double shoot, they're going to hit on 6s. Okay, so 10 attacks. They will hit on 6s, will wound on 1s, and then our Corsairs have light armor and sea dragon cloak, so they'll save on 4s. So there's only one dead Corsair. That is totally fine. And that is the end of turn 4. This is significantly harder than I expected it to be. Corsairs. Okay, how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this? Let's really think about this for a minute. I think we're going to put the Corsairs into skirmish formation. Is what we're going to do. We're going to take a turn to do that. I'm going to bring this guy to the front first. And bring this guy to the front so that you can see these little things on them. And then do I want to do the same for the... the reason we're doing this is so that we can go into a building, get some plunder points. We are trying to get on the board right now. Do we want to do the same thing to the Witch Elves? Okay, if we do, they're going to get shot at, but then we can charge down, kill these guys, and then just try and get around. I think that's what we're going to do, yeah. So we're going to reform our Witch Elves, and we're going to deploy them into a skirmish formation on the spot. And then our returning Dark Riders are going to gallop in like so. And then we're going to just pull these guys in close, because I want to kill the chameleon skinks with these guys if I can. These guys are kind of just sacrificial at this point. I moved these guys. I didn't move these guys, did I? I want to keep them here, actually, because basically these two units together block off all these 3 buildings for the time being. And I don't think we're going to get a victory out of 4d6 plunder points as the Dark Elves. So I think that they're actually like doing the tactically correct thing. For now, we shall see. So that brings us to Lizards. Alright, so our skink skirmishers are going to begrudgingly show themselves. I know that doing this is guaranteeing they're going to get charged. I'm just hoping that they don't get completely bodied. And these guys are going to stand right here. So, these guys are at, some of them are at long range. 3 of them are at long range. Okay, so 4s normally, 5s because they moved, 6s for the high ground, 7s for long range. If we're already going on 7s, we may as well put these guys. So the 4 that are at short range are going to... Wait, no. 4s normally, 5s for moving, 6s for skirmishing, but long range doesn't push you over. Okay, so these guys are going to make 4 attacks that hit on 6s. Nothing. And then these guys in the back are going to make 8 attacks that hit on... 6 attacks that hit on 6s. 1, and then it needs to check if it actually hit, and it didn't. Okay, nothing happens from these shots. These guys, they have short range, they didn't move, so they'll be normally hitting on 4s, they're shooting at skirmishes, so that becomes... normally hitting on 3s, skirmishes becomes 4s, multi-shot becomes 5s. Let's go! All need to check if they wound. 4 attacks hit on 4s. And we make an armor save, which we passed. These guys are insane. Oh, and then I didn't move my Soros Warriors because I'm an idiot. We're gonna move these guys forward a bit. Just gonna try and wheel. There isn't actually space to wheel, is there? No, there isn't. So we're gonna move these guys down to like here. Basically where they are hard. Actually, no. We'll keep them right here. This is fine. If they go into this one, then the Dark Elves just die instantly. So that's like a good trade. And that's gonna be the end of turn 5. Okay, so charges. Witch elves have to go into skinks. Dark riders have to go into chameleons. Both units could flee. These guys will flee, actually. So they're going to go 2d6 inches away, 11 inches away. Witch elves only get to pursue 5. These guys fleeing would take them this way. These guys will still just catch them, won't they? And then they just get zoomed out of here. Like into safety, honestly, to be a menace. Whereas if they fight these guys, then they just get crushed here. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to form proper ranks for these guys. It's fine. You guys know what it will look like. And these guys are going into this building because this is the least accessible. And so they are going to... I'm not going to put them in. I'm just going to put them outside of it. So like so. Actually, no. I am going to put them in. Screw it. I vaguely know the rules for fighting in buildings. I can look them up if need be. I don't think that the need will be. And so they will get 2d6 plunder points. 11 more plunder points. Okay, 15. We're in draw territory now, boys. This was actually huge. Now this fight here. So we have 5 attacks that we hit on. Let me check my notes. 3s, wound on 2s, save on 7s, go. 3 dead chameleons. Please don't kill any more chameleons. I need these guys to live. They're probably gonna die. They're all dead. Ugh. The good news is that I'm not actually forced to overrun, so I'm just actually gonna hold right here with these guys so we can do a little skedaddle around. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of these guys. These guys have to rally? End of Dark Elf turn, I should say, not just these guys. Skink skirmishers successfully rally. No, they don't. They're leadership 5. Whoops. They're going 8 more inches straight towards the edge of the board now. There's a chance that they just get fleed off the board. Honestly, that would be really unfortunate. Okay. Okay, do I, at this point in time... Oh, I know what I do. Scar Veteran charges Dark Riders. That's the play. Do they want to flee here? They go 3d6 inches, there's a decent chance. They're going to have to hold. So this guy gets to break out and just like tap them here. So you have to wheel them to get them to form up again. He stands right here. He is no longer part of this unit. Let's actually remove this. We put this guy. Properties 3. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. I'm just stupid. What's new? Okay, at this point in time, standard combat res doesn't mean anything. We're going to reform both of them into the skirmishes. This is actually beneficial for them because it means they get to make more attacks. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner, actually. Or at least theoretically they get to make more attacks. Just kind of getting them to look like a skirmishing unit real quick. Doing this with physical models would be even worse. And yeah, so that's going to be Scar Veteran. He has 4 attacks. He hits on 3s, he wounds on 2s, they save on 7s, go 2 dead riders. 1 remaining guy gets to attack back. He has 2 attacks. He hits on 4s. He wounds on 5s. This guy saves on 2s, I believe. Yeah, he didn't roll any wounds. That's totally expected. Okay, so they've lost by 1 because they still outnumber him. But they're still going to be fleeing, and they're going to flee 3d6, 10 inches. Does he want to pursue them? I don't think he does, but we're going to have to find out if he has a choice in the matter. And it's the Dark Elf player, I'm hoping he doesn't, but he does. Then these guys have to make a panic check. Probably fine. Yeah, they're fine. Okay, the reason I wanted him to fail in that scenario as the Dark Elf player was because if he had failed, then he would have pursued them down to here, right into line of sight of the Witch Elves, who would then be able to kill him. So that's end of turn 6. Okay, the Dark Elves need to get a victory. They need to be at 30 points. Let's think about this realistically. How do we get there? Skirmishing units can double move even when they're close. So the answer is we move from this one to this one. And we try and get our Witch Elves around this way this turn. No, actually. No, okay, so if we get them to here, we can go in through there. Okay, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So these guys are going to double move out and... Oh, in fact, actually, can they even double move out and up? It's a good question. Oh, yes. Okay, so here's the thing. They would count as starting their movement here, and they'll go into here. So, yep, they're fine. The reason it looks so long is just because there's extra distance. Okay, so they get another 2d6 plunder points to this one. That's another 5. Leadership check to rally. My bad. Yep, these guys rally. And then, Witch Elves can't see anything, so we're going to bring them around here. And we are going to actually pull some of them back. Because the last thing we want is to see an enemy around the corner. Because we want to just like sneak in here. And these guys can probably run up and prevent that, but like... it's what we've got to do, basically. And to be fair, a fight around here is actually totally fine. Okay, so that is the end of the Dark Elf turn. What do we do here? We can charge the building, which I believe counts as fighting over an objective. So that's going to be really hard for the Saurus Warriors to win anything. But skirmishing versus skirmishing, there's no rank bonus. There's just a banner in here. We could charge from both sides, actually. We could really mess them up. But then if we charge from both sides, we're basically conceding the Witch Elves into this one. And then if this fight goes terribly, then there's like a huge chance we just lose the game. Alright, so we're going to commit one unit into here. So I'm going to go ahead and form ranks to this one 12 wide. I'm going 12 wide because I know this is 12 inches long. And then this unit is going to form ranks 15 wide. We're just going to try and feel out where the right line for this is. And hey, I'm a genius. The answer is 15 wide. Who could have seen that coming? Wheel that there. And then, yeah, these guys are going to, in fact, book it into here. This is the unfortunate thing about playing solo games. I know exactly what each side needs to do to try and win. Like, I know the strategy for both sides, so it doesn't... There's no sneaking one by me when I'm the one also being snuck by. You know what I mean. It's been a long day, guys. Can you tell? Can you tell that I'm tired? Can you tell that this game is a long game? Alright, so these guys are just roughly forming up here. Now our Witch Elves can see them, so they have to charge, but with like this wide gap, that's terrible for them. Did I check these guys? I didn't check these guys yet. Nope, that's going to be off the board. Actually, no, let's not confirm that yet. Let's actually roll some dice. 5. Yep, that's off the board. Alright, and then finally, the Scar Veteran. I think we want to walk him down here and just sort of like We basically don't want the Dark Riders to get to flank to recharge these guys. Okay, so combat phase. This is 12, I said, of these guys. 24 attacks that hit on 6s, that wound on 3s, and that save on normally 5s, so 6s. Go. 5 dead Corsairs. That leaves 10 left to attack. They each have 2 weapons. There is a leader. These guys will hit on 3s, but they will only wound on 5s, and they will be saved against on 4s. 4 wounds. 4. Whoops, not that one. Not Fanatics. State dead. Okay. These guys outnumber. There's a banner. They did 1 extra wound. So that's literally, it's 1 extra wound of difference. And our Corsairs are okay. But importantly, because they have lost the battle, this means that now the next fight happens inside the building, and the Saurus Warriors get to hit harder. And that is the end of turn 7. Okay, Dark Riders, we're going to... Fuck, do we charge the Scar Veteran? Okay, let's think about this. Even if one guy survives, we're up by 1. We outnumber by 1. He has 2 wounds. If we'd need to only lose 1 guy though. Okay, so let's start off real quick. Which elves have to charge here? I think we make them like 3 wide. And then, whoops, get rid of you girls. Wheel them. Yeah, like even 3 wide's too wide actually. So form ranks 2 wide. Wheel. And then unit 1 forms ranks 2 wide. And wheels. So this is an absolute mess of a fight. And you guys get out of here. Whoops. I think I have to take this charge, honestly. I don't see... Because we're on the last turn, right? So I kind of just have to Hail Mary everything into a fight and hope that we get plunder points from that. So that brings us to the combat phase. We'll start over here. This is 4, 7 attacks. To be fair, we only need to do 2 wounds to actually guaranteed win this fight. That's kind of insane. We hit on 3s. Hang on, I gotta slow roll this. 7 attacks that hit on 3s. Go. Okay, 1 poison. 5 that wound on 5s. 3 armor saves. And if one of these fails, that's amazing. If 2 of these fail, that's a win. 1 of them fails. Okay, I will take it. I will take it. So it's going to be 2 attacks back. We'll hit on 4s. We'll wound on 3s. We'll save on 7s. We just need 1 of these to fail. No, we need none of these to succeed, actually. 1 fail. 1 succeeds. Yeah, that's going to be a Saurus Warrior victory. Okay, over here. Corsairs. There is 14 of them. 28 to 29 attacks. They hit on 3s. They wound on 5s. They get saved on 4s. Go. 5 dead Saurus Warriors. That's huge. Because that brings the Saurus Warriors down to just 14 attacks. That hit on 3s. Hit on 4s this time. Wound on 3s. Save on 6s. Go. Only 3. Okay. Hope. This is 11. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There is no outnumber. These guys have lost by 2, 3. Okay. And that's an 8. That might not be enough. That might be too high. The leadership 8. Yep, that is a flea. Come on. Okay, that is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more plunder points. That brings them up to 31. That alone is a Dark Elf victory. That is huge. Now we're going to finish up here. 3 attacks. hit on 4s, wound on 4s, save on 5 up, 4 up, 3 up, 2 up, 1 up, 2 up. Go. Nothing. 3 attacks, hit on 4s, wound on 5s, save on 2s, go. Nothing. 4 attacks, hit on 3s. I don't know, I mean, I do know why I'm playing this out. I just want to see how severe the outcome is. But yeah, this is basically, yep, these guys are dead, 2 dead. Okay, not important there. 1, they outnumber. Witch Elves lose by 1. They are going to, I believe they're going to stay in. Yep, they stay in. And then the Dark Riders flee off the board. Actually, no, the Dark Riders stay on the board. He's going to pursue. He goes 2d6, only 6 inches. But with that, that is the end of the Dark Elf turn. That's the end of the Dark Elf turn, isn't it? Yeah, because we did charges there. Oh, wait, this isn't actually the end of the game. There is a chance for the Dark Elves to do better. So, the Witch Elves here need to get 2 kills. That's it. This is the way that the Dark Elves can do better. 4 attacks that wound on 5s, go. 2 saves on 4s if both of these fail. Nope. Because now I know for a fact that 2 4s to wound, 3s to wound, 7s to save, 1's going to die. Oh, wow, nothing. Oh, this guy charges these guys off the board, so that fails. These guys are 11 inches, like over here. Or 10 inches over here. It doesn't matter, I'm just sort of, for posterity's sake. Okay, and then, Witch Elves, they've won by 1. No, that's a tie. Never mind. That doesn't achieve anything else, and that is turn 8. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the game. That Dark Elves have achieved 31 plunder points, but they subtract 20 because they were a 1,000 point army, which brings them down to 11, which is a minor victory to the Raiders. I am actually shocked that went as well as it did for them, considering the disaster that was the beginning. We didn't have a general for most of that. We didn't have a rare unit. We had everything else still, but like we lost a lot at the beginning of the game. And importantly, we turned a 4-directional assault into a 1-directional assault. And we still, well, I guess technically a 2-directional assault, but like this one petered out and had to like just pivot around into this. And we still turned that into a minor victory. That was a wild game. I had so much fun, if you couldn't tell from just like the growing excitement in my voice as we got towards the end. I didn't even have thoughts, like I just had fun. Definitely gonna do this scenario again in the future. Not until the end of this month, obviously, because I have my entire schedule sorted out and I don't want to repeat scenarios and things. But afterwards, yeah, 100%. 100% I'm putting some other factions in this, probably like versus Empire, versus High Elves. I'm really excited to play more. So if you enjoyed that video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I will be back tomorrow with, oh goodness, what is it next? I can quickly check for you. Wood Elves versus Orcs and Goblins. Well, Wood versus Orcs. There are no Elves, there are no Goblins. And that's going to be a Little Lords game on a horrendously balanced map, but I'm trying out some maps. I'm approaching the point where I'm sort of like solidifying the ones I like, and I'm trying to get a little bit more creative. I want to end this month with 8 maps that I like, because if I have 8 maps that I like for warbands, pumping out games daily isn't unreasonable in the future, and failing that, 2 or 3 videos a week after this month of celebration is very reasonable to me. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you tomorrow. Boy!